Parents of gaming addicts are coming under fire for claiming that there's nothing they can do to stop their children playing video games. 60 Minutes revealed some teens haven't gone to school in 2 years because of a gaming addiction, but their families say they're helpless to stop it.
What happens if you say, no, you can't do this? It's not as simple as taking the cord away and going, oh, well, bad luck, you haven't got the internet, because the repercussions from that, angry, aggressive, we've had to call the police before. I have been headbutted, I've had concussion, I've been bitten, black and blue, all up and down my arms. I can't hold him back now. He's my height, so I can't physically restrain him.
Sounds like you're frightened of him.
I can be. If he is in that moment, then I can be, yes.
Wow, how about that? Let's get today's take on this with Shelley Horton from 9honey.com.au, journalist John Mangos. John, do you... so our boys are around the same age,
Correct.
Same class at school.
Correct.
Leo doesn't have any devices. He has an Apple iPod which he's allowed to use after he's done his chores, and he's only got music on it.
Yep.
I used to be a gamer, but I've got no gaming consoles in the house.
Yep.
And now I'm glad I don't.
Yeah, David, I agree with you. It's a parental issue. We set parameters when it comes to certain measures of social behaviour. We should also, as I do and as you will, set parameters when it comes to devices. Now, sometimes you don't have a choice. My older one, who's a year or two ahead of your little Leo, all of the kids in grade 5 have to have an iPad.
Sure.
And
For
so
work.
they do that for their homework. Now, it's very easy once you've got the iPad to download games, which they all do, and then it makes it a little bit more difficult to control. But we've got a blanket rule. It's about parameters and parenting. We've got a blanket rule.
However, I feel
no
bad
games
if you
Monday to Friday.
I feel bad if you are a parent and you had these games before. You didn't see something like Fortnite coming, so you think they're playing a regular game, and the next minute they're addicted to this
but you know,
highly
David,
contagious game.
I check with them all the time. What are you playing now? Minecraft. What are you playing now? Fortnite. Fortnite? Why are you playing Fortnite? Well, we don't play it very often. How often? And you've got to ask questions. You've got to have feedback. You've got to have two-way communication with your kids to know what they're up to and earn their trust.
In this particular case, I think this child, did you see the story, Shelley?
Yeah.
As a result of his parents' divorce, I think that became a place for him to go where he felt less anxious about life in
it is
general.
about dealing with someone who's got an addiction, but it's also you need to have an intervention when someone has addiction, and you need to get help for them.
Because the
and help for you.
WHO have said that video gaming is a proper, it's like a gaming disorder.
It's an actual addiction.
Further, that it can kill brain cells.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can't even imagine what it'd be like for a parent to be afraid of their child. But I think that if you're at that stage, you need external help. It's obvious that you're not being able to handle it within the family unit, so you need to get professional help.
Also, gaming can be fun. It doesn't have to be this highly addictive sort of thing. So,
All right,
tough one.
Move on now. Do you know your neighbour? New figures reveal a third of people have no clue who lives next door. Millennials are the worst. 55% of them say they feel disconnected with society, compared to only 24% of baby boomers. So, Shelley, Australians living in isolation, are you one of them?
A little bit. So, I mean, I grew up in Kingaroy, which is everyone knew everyone's business, and so it was all about the fact that everyone had, know your neighbours. So I think when I moved to Sydney, it was very much that I wanted to be a bit more isolated. But I was living in the CBD, so in the block that I was living on had more people than my entire hometown.
Yeah, right.
So that was kind of overwhelming.
Yeah.
Now, I miss it. And so the building that I live in now, I have made an effort to do things like throw Christmas party drinks so that everyone does mingle and get to know each other. And I really like that. But I had that horrible thing where I invited everyone and I put on the food and I said it was be there at 7 and no one turned up until 8. So I had a whole hour of going, I don't have any friends. And then it was great. But I also have found having a dog makes people more friendly because when I was either single or just, walking around doing my own business with my phone, it's very easy just to not make eye contact.
Are you in a house or an apartment?
In a house, and we know our neighbours, but we're not ultra close, but we do have Christmas drinks, and the occasional time we'll have a barbecue together over the summer. I don't want to sound like the cynical reporter. I think it's a bit exaggerated, this story. I mean, I've lived in big cities, and sometimes you feel you're loneliest in a big city. I get that. But this is all about calling on your neighbours to have a cup of tea. And then if you read the fine print about this survey, you find that it's been sponsored by a very well-known tea company.
All right.
So I'm a little bit cynical about the results.
Gotcha.
Down.
But you guys stay with us because
Good to
when we
have a
come
journalist
back,
on the show, isn't it?
it is. If you could, would you want to live forever?
Come on, absolutely. And men reveal the most common misconceptions that ladies, women, have about us blokes, and we're misunderstood.
For you.
Yeah.
Now, would you want to live forever if it was an option? That's a question being posed by scientists who say it will soon be possible to live well past 120.
Bring it on. I want to be a Highlander. Let's get today's take on this with Shelley Houghton and John Mangos. Shelley, what do you reckon about this?
No way, Jose.
listen,
I
if
can
I
think
don't-
of nothing worse.
If I don't look bad when I get old...
Oh, it's all
You're
about
gonna
the
look
look.
awesome at 120.
Yeah.
I don't see how you could have the quality of life for 120, and no one's even
Science,
saved
baby.
for. No one's saved for retirement to even get them to 80. So come on, how are we going to fund this?
Keep
But then we see US Senator John McCain's mother, Roberta. She attended his funeral, her son's funeral. She is 106 years of age and quite extraordinary.
Yeah.
Quite sprightly.
It is all about quality of life, I think. If you want to extend your life, and I think people of our generation, we've got life expectancy in the early to mid-80s. Apparently millennial kids, our kids,
Yeah.
their life expectancy has jumped up to about 100.
Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. But I like this question. If you knew you could live forever, you probably wouldn't walk out the front door, would you?
Why?
Because that's your one and only chance, mate. If you knew you could blow it, you'd probably never leave the house. It's about being aware of your mortality is why we cross the road and jump on a bus and jump on a train. Think about it. If you knew you could live
gotta
forever,
live
you'd be
like
in
today's your last.
you'd be.
There would be none
You know
of
what I
that
mean?
anymore.
Oh, I had to
You
think
might.
about that.
You'd be wrapped in so much cotton wool, it wouldn't be worth
You've
living.
gone into the twilight zone. Anyway, look,
Philosophy
I want
with
to talk
John.
about this because apparently men need cuddles and compliments too. They don't want to be expected to pay on the first date. Blokes from all over the world have been anonymously sharing
Anonymously.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
things they wish women knew.
Back yourself, fellas.
Now, John, some
Yep.
men say they want more romance and passion and confidence boosts from their
Of
partners.
course we do, and I wouldn't say some men, I'd say most men, right? We have feelings too, and I suspect that those who are most macho and display the most bravado are probably the ones who are softest on the
I don't know if you can
inside.
see this, but this ice cream's taking a poo. Can you pull that down for a sec? Pull that little word, pull the words down, pull the...
I think that was called a super.
There we go. Why did he put
As a
that with
With
that
that.
picture?
Because we wanted to cover up the soft serve, if you know what I'm saying.
I think he has a problem.
That is also
You know, I'm
gonna
from
be
the generation also where the male always, well, I certainly did. Every time I asked the lady out, I'd pick
Pay.
up the bill. Now,
Yeah.
I understand that times have changed, and I understand
They
why,
have?
and why women would like to pay the bill or go halves. So I think we're probably at a point where it's fair to say if you're the inviter, then you should expect to pay. If I've invited you for a dinner, then it's an onus upon me. Similarly with you, if you invite me, then
Yeah.
I would expect you to pay.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a fairer way in this day and age now that men don't presume that it's them every time.
Shelley, we have feelings. Make me feel good about myself.
Seriously, now that I'm a smug married, I'm like, yeah, I love giving my husband compliments and cuddles and stuff like that.
Do you, though?
When I was single, I'm like,
How long have you
hard
been married?
enough. Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah. Give it time.
Yeah, give it time.
I can't imagine what it would be like being with old Mrs. Needy. I need constant reassurance.
Do I
To be
need
like,
constant
oh
reassurance?
my
Do you think that of me?
Yeah.
Do you think I'm really
This
needy?
is our work husband-wife relationship. I'm like, stop being such a sook.
Yeah.
I'm not being a sook, you're a sook.
David,
I
you
love
poor
it.
baby. We all love you, David.
Poor baby.
Look at him.
See, that's so
That's
much
all it
better.
takes.
All I had to do was just act vulnerable and people gave me compliments. It was the best.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Go into Facebook and Twitter.
Give me
and
some compliments on there too.
Because that's
Oh, I
going to
get a lot
happen
of
on
hate on them
Facebook.
people.
Yeah.
Hey, and what am I, chopped liver?
Yeah, give it to John too. Make him
The
feel
poor
good.
fellas.
All right. Poor boys. Thank you so much. Thanks, Shelley.
Thanks.
Coming
Yeah.
up on Today Extra, nursing home.